Hello, this is Reese Martin with the Oklahoma Route 66 Association, and welcome to our 2023 Year in Review. It's been an active year along our stretch of the Mother Road, and I'm excited to go over the details. First, you'll hear about changes along the road over the last year, and then I'll talk about our association directly. If you like what follows and want to support our mission, please consider joining the association or donating to our cause. We appreciate the support. Now, on to the presentation. Oklahoma Route 66 Association is about more than just the state. We are very honored to have members from other states and other areas in the country, including Kansas. Gearhead Curios up in Galena had their ribbon cutting in June to celebrate the completion of their attraction. Dairy King in Commerce reopened this year after a long closure due to illness. We're so happy that Treva is feeling better and her and Charles are welcoming travelers again. The Cuckoo Burger in Miami has reopened their dining room. It had been closed since COVID, and they'd been struggling to get enough staff to reopen the dining room, but as of now, the dining room is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Frozen Elephant, which is a coffee and shaved ice business in Miami, opened their new location. Owner Eli Chenoweth had purchased a vintage Hudson Oil service station and had it installed right next to his other building in town, the historic Marathon service station on South Main. They've opened and have refurbished that wonderful little service station, and it's definitely worth the visit. The Ribbon Road outside of Miami, conversations continue to occur between the association, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, and officials in the county to determine a future plan to preserve that stretch of road. The conversation continues to evolve as the plan continues to change. I will admit we're so far not happy with the plans presented. Originally, the plan was to mill up the entire old pavement and relay it, and we expressed our concerns that would damage the historic integrity of the road that currently exists. And the most recent proposal involves leaving the original road in place but adding asphalt lanes on either side, which also is not acceptable to preserve the road as it is and the experience of driving on it, which is one of the most unique stretches of Route 66 in Oklahoma. We'll continue to keep the association members engaged on this and let you know if more action is needed. The American Heartland theme park was announced near Veneta. This is a huge project, a $2 billion investment in Northeast Oklahoma. They have already broken ground on the Three Ponies RV Park. If you drive the stretch of Route 66 between Afton and Miami, you'll notice a lot of dirt work going on, and that's to prepare for the RV park, which is phase 1 of this project. We had a wonderful neon relighting at the Highway Cafe in Veneta. We worked with the Route 66 Association of Missouri on that project to get a grant from the National Park Service. So happy to see that sign restored by Encinos in Tulsa and relit after a very long time of being dark. The highway has a few other things to celebrate, including the installation of Big Bill, their muffler man, which was originally carted around the country thanks to Mobil Oil, and the installation of the chief from Massachusetts. You can see him in the picture there. He stood outside of a trading post in the Northeast. The owners of the Highway Cafe also own the Western Motel next door. They saved this fiberglass giant, restored him, and had him installed there next to the motel, I should say. In downtown Chelsea, their historic bank building restoration is underway. It's looking wonderful. The Historical Society there is now working on the interior. It's a wonderful success story of a building that I personally was just afraid one day I'd drive up there to check it out and pieces of it would have fallen into Main Street. But it is looking great, and I can't wait to go up and see it once the restoration is completed. The Fiddle House at Totem Pole Park in Foyle was restored this year. We had the pleasure as an association of going up and speaking to the folks assembled there about the history of Route 66 and how it connects to the park there, and attend a talk in Tulsa about Native American representation and how the understanding of the park has evolved over the years. In addition to the reputation, I'll say, of classic Route 66 Americana, of presenting a more simplified version of Native American culture than is truly reality. We look forward to continuing to work with our tribal partners in Oklahoma to provide resources for travelers to learn more about the 13 tribes whose land Route 66 goes through in the state of Oklahoma. We lost Molly's Landing this year. In addition to the restaurant itself catching fire and being severely damaged, unfortunately the owner perished in that tragedy. We're very sorry to see this happen. Last that we discussed with the owners, they were talking about potentially reopening once they assessed everything. Not sure what the future plans are for it, but we certainly miss it. And we wish them the best of luck. The 11th and Lewis intersection in Tulsa, road work was completed. This is the heart of the Market District, anchored by Mother Road Market. It includes a new visitor center that's staffed by the city of Tulsa, which is great. They haven't had a brick-and-mortar visitor center since I can remember. So it's a nice place for travelers to stop and learn a little bit more and get some information about the city. Mother Road Market itself was also voted the #1 food hall in America by USA Today. A really big feather in their cap, and we're so proud of everything that the Lobeck-Taylor Family Foundation has done for Tulsa, and specifically in this market district. The 11th Street Bridge in Tulsa was listed on Preservation Oklahoma's Most Endangered Places list, right alongside the Rock Creek Bridge in Sapulpa. Both bridges are currently closed to traffic. The 11th Street Bridge has been closed for quite a long time, and those that have been involved in this issue know that the price tag to restore that bridge is very high, over $20 million. And having a listing on something like Preservation Oklahoma's list is a great way to bring some national recognition to the site and to talk about its importance. The Rock Creek Bridge in Sapulpa also needs some repair work, and I know the city is currently working on plans to enhance that entire area around the bridge with the hopes of creating a park to people so they can enjoy the bridge, learn a little bit about the history there, have some photo ops. There should be more to come about that. Just on the western side of that bridge, the TP Drive-In reopened this year. What a great success story this is, with that magnificent neon sign right there next to the modern alignment of Route 66. We're so happy to have that there. Sapulpa also did something that a lot of people aren't aware of. You can see the map snippet here. State Highway 66, which starts in northeast Oklahoma and goes all the way out to El Reno, which is an ODOT highway, used to go down historic Route 66 down Dewey. However, the city lobbied and successfully moved the Oklahoma State Highway 66 designation south a bit here. What that does is that returns the historic Route 66 alignment through downtown back into city hands, so they can make some changes. They'd love to change that road, do what's called a road diet by reducing the lanes, adding some landscaping, really enhancing that area to make it a lot more pleasant for pedestrians and for the businesses to really celebrate Route 66 in that wonderful downtown district. So more to come there, but this was a step that had to happen beforehand. The Oklahoma Route 66 Midpoint Corridor launched. This is a group of towns between Sapulpa and Edmond that came together and decided they wanted to work on a couple of projects to enhance their corridor. The first one being an organized Christmas this year. They call it 100 Miles of Christmas. And of course, the Christmas shoot in Sapulpa served as an inspiration. They were so successful last year that now this year, every town between Sapulpa and Edmond picked a theme and decorated accordingly. They coordinated their lights on days and parades so that folks in Oklahoma could go and enjoy all of them and do a little road trip and see what all these communities were about. You can see from the pictures here, Stroud had an elf theme, Bristow had a cowboy Christmas, Depew had a kind of train depot set up. It was just really wonderful. Here are a couple of more pictures showing, Wellston and Edmond. Luther did a Whoville theme. It was just really wonderful during the holidays to drive Route 66 and see how each of these towns had come together. We expect some great things out of them in 2024. I know they're already getting ready to meet to talk about what they want to do this year. And the association is talking about how we can be a part of it coming up. So more to come there. The Route 66 Spirit of America Museum opened in Stroud in June. Steve Brandt, the owner here, in a story that's not unlike Don Welsh of the Rock Cafe, visited Stroud on a Route 66 trip, fell in love with the town, and ended up moving there. His museum is dedicated to talking about the impact of pop culture and American ingenuity in the 20th century, and we're really happy to have that spot in Stroud to stop and learn a little bit more and see America from that very optimistic lens. The Merrimack Caverns mural outside of Chandler was damaged early in 2023 in a windstorm. Even though the roof has been repaired, we are happy to announce that we have received permission from the owners of Merrimack Caverns in Missouri to repaint the logo. We're working with some folks there in the county for funding. That's in place, and to get that repainted on the roof. These just takes a little time to get together sometimes, but that is in progress, and we're really excited for that to be restored. Roadwork between Wellston and Arcadia is ongoing. Route 66 through this stretch is being widened to add some additional room for the shoulders. Route 66 is a U.S. bike route now, which we'll talk a little bit about here in a bit. But this makes the road a little bit safer as it travels through eastern Oklahoma. We lost the Pioneer Camp building in Wellston this year. It was the old stone service station that's next to the barbecue restaurant there in Wellston, Butcher Stand. It had been closed for many years after a fire. Unfortunately, the building was beyond saving, and so it came down this year. We're sorry to see it go, but nothing lasts forever, and we were able to put together an article talking about the history of it that is available on our website. Restoration at the Threet Filling Station outside of Luther is ongoing. And the work that they did this year with the Hope Crew and the National Trust for Historic Preservation was featured on CBS. So they've had some really nice recognition. I know they're preparing plans to continue to develop the site to create an interpretive center that talks about the African American traveling experience during the Jim Crow era, as well as developing the rest of the family's land there to call back to the family's history of it being a welcome spot for people to rest, and they'd love to do a restaurant and a little RV park, and they've got a bunch of great plans, and we're really excited to see how that continues to develop. The Round Barn had a significant scare this year. You can see in the picture there one of their giant beams cracked, but thankfully they were able to find appropriate materials to replace that beam, and so that was taken care of. And late in 2023, siding restoration began. They received a grant from the National Park Service to replace some of that siding, and you can see it is currently ongoing. We're also happy to report that they're talking about different ways they can take some of the old damaged and rotted wood, use the good parts of it, and create some keepsakes and some things there to raise some money for their preservation work. So we're really excited to see what that ends up as. The Oklahoma Music Trail launched in August. The first sign went up in Bethany, right on Route 66. You can see here this sign is in honor of Tommy Collins. These signs are going to be going up across Oklahoma, not just on Route 66, but we were really happy to see that our favorite highway was a part of it as it launched. Look for more on that in 2024. Job's Drive-In in El Reno is being restored. You can see the work here on the sign with some working neon, which we love to see. That is ongoing. The restaurant there was purchased by the owners of Sid's, which many Route 66 travelers are familiar with, and that's currently being worked on. Eager for that to reopen and for that restaurant to be back in service. Work continues on the Pony Bridge near Bridgeport. As you might remember, this bridge was closed and is being rebuilt. The historic trusses, even though they will not be load-bearing, are currently being reattached to the bridge. It'll be about 4 feet wider than it has been since it was originally built in the 1930s. That'll add some safety and reduce the damage that the trusses get when trucks drive over this that aren't quite the right size for it. But we're really excited about this reopening. Right now that's shooting for a late April reopening, which is ahead of schedule. And as we know more, we'll announce it and have a nice party out there to cross the bridge and to celebrate it reopening. Lucille's in Hydro had some damage this year also due to weather. That's been fixed. The roof's good, and there's even a nice sign in the front now on the building itself that tells a little bit more about Lucille's story that wouldn't fit on that Will Rogers Highway marker that's right next to it. ASAP Energy is taking really good care of this wonderful legacy property. An outdoor concert series at McLean Rogers Park in Clinton started this year. They got a grant, and so for the next few years, they're going to have a series of outdoor concerts at that wonderful WPA bandshell there that you can see. We're really happy to have this happen in Clinton, and I know they've seen a lot of really great feedback from having those series of concerts. Of course, in addition, the Glancy Motel in Clinton came down. That's a sad story from 2023. We went out and talked to the mayor, the city council, did everything that we could aside from chaining people there to the building to keep it from being demolished. But unfortunately, it had fallen in such a state of disrepair that the city felt that was the only thing they could do, was to tear it down. Again, we were really sorry to see that happen. It was a really wonderful property, a unique opportunity to restore an authentic Route 66 motel. Currently, it's just all, the sign is still standing. The city says that that's going to be saved. Plans are in flux. Not sure if it's going to stay in place and be integrated into the Oklahoma Highway Patrol headquarters that's planned to be built there, or if it's going to be moved to the Route 66 Museum and restored there. We'll continue to let people know what's going on as we learn it. In addition, Route 66 Cafe at the Market, which is just pretty much next door now, did change owners. We're really happy to have spoken to them. They're eager to continue the legacy that restaurant has there in town. If you've never been in there, it's pretty interesting. You can see from the picture there, it looks like that siding of a house. Well, that's exactly what it is. They built the existing restaurant around the original site. So stop in, welcome the new owners to the Route 66 family, and have a good meal while you're there. Elk City's Westland Marquee was restored. Beautiful work just south of Route 66 in Elk City. There was actually a sign company in Tulsa that drove all the way out and took care of it, and now it's lit up for the first time in a long time. We're really happy to see that happen there in town. In Eric, the Bone Break Hardware store, which is right next to the Meridian Museum, we had some reports of some internal damage. A window had broken, and there was concern that the ceiling might be bowing. We reached out to the city of Eric, their mayor, and some other folks in town who reached out to the owners. They went, took a look at the site. Everything seems to be good. No concerns about the integrity of the building. But conversations have started to happen about what should happen to this. If you've never seen the Bone Break Hardware store, next time you're in Eric, go take a look in that window. It's so interesting. It looks like someone just locked the door and left one day. There's a lot of really cool stuff in here. And the Oklahoma Route 66 Association has made ourselves available to help in any way. If there's any acquisition plans or anything like that, we'll let everybody know. And we have continued to work with Maisel Zimmerman and Texola to help her get Tumbleweed Grill reopened. She's been closed since COVID. There have been some issues getting things in order for her to open those doors again and serve folks. But we continue to work with her to help eliminate hurdles so that she can turn that open sign back on and welcome travelers in her little section of Route 66. So that's what's going on along the road. I'll talk just a little bit more here about what the association's been up to over the last year. We launched our first full-color Oklahoma Route 66 trip guide. This has been a real big success. We've run through more trip guides this year than we have since I got involved with the association. As a matter of fact, it's led us in 2024. We're going to be printing 10,000 more, so we'll have 50,000 copies of the new guide go out when we get everything settled and it out into the market. We revamped our online business member directory to make it more user-friendly and usable. You can search by town, you can search by type of business. If you just want to see motels, you can do that. And it allows each business to add more information about their spot, be it pictures, detailed maps, links to websites and Facebook pages, things like that. So we're really happy to have that launched, and our partnership with Prairie Creative to get that created. Jerry McClanahan, who'd been on our board for a while, stepped back in Lincoln County. He's still very much engaged with Route 66 work, but we're so happy to have his support. And although we don't see him as often at board meetings, we're really happy to stop by and visit with him anytime we're out in Chandler. Steve Brandt, who operates the museum spoken of previously in Stroud, did step in for Lincoln County in his stead. We had a couple of new stencils created. You can see one installed here outside of the Old Depot in Bristow. We have these available to be borrowed by association members. So if you have an area that's not an ODOT road or not an official area that you can't put anything down on, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to get you together to see if we can't get some of these badges on the pavement. Again, this can't be used on any roads that you do not have direct jurisdiction over, and we have like a release form for that, but we do have them available and they look really great. We did lose 2 longtime Route 66 supporters this year, Cletus Simpson from Davenport and Carol Duncan from Clinton. Both very deeply involved with Route 66 since its earliest days. We miss them both very much, and is really sorry to say farewell to them this year. Oh, now this is a really great story. Roadside attraction signs have gone up all over the state. If you'll remember, in 2022 we launched a new program to replace the damaged, missing and faded roadside attraction signs across Oklahoma that were originally put up in 2003 by Hampton Inn. In addition to that, we also offered a program where historic sites that weren't included on that original caravan could apply for some signage for their locations. And as you can see, this has been massively successful. We replaced signs at the Admiral Twin in Tulsa. We got a new set of signs to Harley out in Eric. Seba Station in Warwick got some signs to replace theirs. Buck Adams is a new location and a historic service station that has some signs up. Same with the Blue Hippo in Edmond and the Territorial Schoolhouse. They now have signs displaying and talking a little bit about the historic nature of their attractions. The Western Motel in Veneta has some signage there, in addition to the Highway Cafe next door. We also helped sign several locations in southwest Missouri. And Kansas, and the museum there in Elk City, you can see the signs being delivered. We're currently working with Texas to help them replace some of their signs that have also gone missing, or the verbiage needs some updated. So this has been a massively successful program. We've also had conversations with our counterparts in Illinois and in New Mexico about this program, as they've expressed interest in doing the same. So this has been really successful. Look for more of these to come in 2024. We designed and launched our Centennial logo. I say we designed, but I have to give full credit to Shelley Graham, longtime Route 66 advocate and wonderful artist, for creating this logo for us. And if you look closely, it's actually 2 logos here. The logo on the left is, I'll say, our main logo. It shows Route 66 in addition to State Highway 7, which is the road in the eastern part of the state. But we don't want our folks in the western part of Oklahoma to feel left out. There's an alternate version here that shows State Highway 3, which is what it was like there in western Oklahoma, with a couple of different landmarks in the background. So keep an eye out. We have some merchandise on our website with one or both of these logos on them, and we'll have more to come. We participated in a number of events this year. Oklahoma Orchid Society was set up at Will Rogers Gardens in Oklahoma City. We were happy to be there. AAA Route 66 Road Fest, we were there for that entire festival and had a great time visiting with many of you. We participated in the parade in downtown Geary. That was a real treat to be there for that. We drove up to Springfield, Missouri for their Birthplace Festival, went out to western Oklahoma and the edge of Texas for the Motor Tour in October, and took part in the Cycle 66, which has been a great supporter of our association. Really happy to get out as often as we can with our volunteers. Keep an eye out this year. We'll have more opportunities. We can definitely use your help to tell folks about Route 66 and help keep our association going. The AAA Route 66 Road Fest led to conversations with a Japanese music group called Bentenya and the Route 66 Association of Japan, which we formalized an agreement to work closer together. So that means that as they're out in California and in Japan and other places, they'll have some information about Oklahoma they can use to help promote the state for Japanese travelers wanting to experience Route 66. We had several meetings with Route 66 Navigation and are enjoying a closer working relationship with them as they continue to enhance their mobile app to help folks experience Route 66. We designed and had a presentation to some kids at Monte Cassino School in March here in Tulsa, and that was really wonderful. We're also currently working on education curriculum to help with some ideas for field trips and other ways to teach Route 66 to kids of different ages. Stay tuned. We'll have more on that in 2024. We brought a photo exhibit, Main Street, the Lost Dream of Route 66, to Tulsa. These are photographs taken by the late Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer Edward Keating. This was in downtown Tulsa, and we were really pleased to be the first Route 66 community to present his work. Previously, it had only been in New York and San Francisco, and when his family reached out to us, We really wanted to be a part of helping bring this to the communities that he photographed in the 90s and early 2000s. We reached out to other state associations to make them aware that this was available. We hope to see this pop up somewhere else on Route 66 this year. We also restarted our committee work. Got our board engaged to get our committees relaunched, have volunteers for all of them. If you want to pitch in, we can definitely use the help in one of our committees to help continue the work of the Route 66 Association and prepare for the centennial. We participated in the Route 66 Road Ahead Partnership meeting in Albuquerque in April and went out to the Miles of Possibility Conference in Illinois in October. We love connecting with our partners across the country to help promote Route 66 and find ways to help enhance the corridor. And so it's always great to get together, hear new ideas, present our ideas, and together we're stronger. We also led a great tour of college students from OU's Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication. You can see a picture of us there outside the Coleman in Miami. We started in the Capitol and went all the way to the Kansas border, and I don't mind telling you, it was dark by the time we turned that bus around and started heading back to central Oklahoma. We're doing western part of the state this year in March. We'll let everybody know when we'll be out there so that the next batch of students can experience Route 66 and use it to work on what they're doing for the Centennial, which is helping with branding, marketing, and advertising. Oklahoma is the best place to experience the Route 66 Centennial. We also participated in the launch of Bike Route 66 in May. The first signs were unveiled in Tulsa, and more signs are now being installed along the rest of Route 66. ODOT currently expects to have signs up and installed by summer. We join Illinois, Missouri, and Kansas as having bike route designations. Missouri and Kansas are both federal, Illinois is state, to help encourage bicycle travel on Route 66. We also launched our Explorers Club, which is a great new way for children to experience Route 66 and get them engaged with preservation, get them engaged with education, learning about the culture of Route 66, and helping inspire their imagination. We've already had some sign-ups for this, and we have some kids plugging in along Route 66 throughout the state, and we expect this to also be a pretty good success this year. We're happy and thankful for all of our members that are participating in this project. And finally, we have a new home office. We're just now starting to move in. The picture here is as it was when we looked at it. This is right next to the Campbell Hotel in Tulsa on 11th Street. We'll have a street-facing door you can see there under the awning. We're talking about the potential of maybe a neon sign, getting a vinyl wrap on that roll-up garage door there to make it a little bit more visual. And then we'll have an office there for our new executive director, which we should be hiring this year. And have a little storefront so visitors can stop, learn about Route 66, and purchase some merchandise and some things like that to help promote Route 66 and keep these. Boy, well, that was a lot. Thank you so much for hanging in there and being interested in what Route 66 in Oklahoma has been through in the last year. We're super excited for 2024. The Centennial will be here before we know it. Again, if you like what we do or want to help support Route 66, please consider joining us as a member or donating to our cause. You can find more at www.oklahomaroute66.com. We're also on Facebook. Just search for Oklahoma Route 66 and reach out to us. Let us know how you can help. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the road.